where my confidence cannot be shaken. I don't care what any of you say about your favorite shitcoin. I don't care what any of you say about you don't understand where the intrinsic value is. You can't shake my confidence because I've put in my 10,000 hours and I've studied to the point where the price just doesn't matter to me. I'm going to stack as much as humanly possible. And then, in the future, sooner or later, we'll all see who the prophet is, to quote Nasir bin Aludurah Jones. What's good, family? Welcome to Stack Sat to Die Trying. This is the Bitcoin only show brought to you by the Hood. I'm your host as always. My name is Jimmy. Listen, welcome to episode 18, the Peyton Manning episode. Another quick episode for me to go on my Bitcoin rambles, as you guys have been listening to the last several episodes or watching the last several episodes. Important Bitcoin news, talking about Bitcoin education, but just going on my overall rambles and my thoughts and ideas surrounding the greatest technology investment asset ever created, which is known as Bitcoin. Thank you for all the feedback of previous episodes. Thank you for all the comments. I appreciate all the support. But let me get right into what I want to talk about today, and that is this, right? So, this article from Bitcoin Magazine I was reading, and it's about Robert Kiyosaki. The title of the article, and by the way, for those listening to the audio, I will read some of this article. So, you get the idea of what it is I'm trying to say or what my thought process is. For those watching the video, salute to you. You'll see a little bit of this article. But the article says, Rich Dad, Poor Dad author predicts Bitcoin to hit $350,000. Now, it says that he predicts this to happen by August of 2024, citing his lack of faith in current U.S. leadership. And he endorses Bitcoin as an alternative. So a couple things about this. I am not the biggest Robert Kiyosaki fan. Did I enjoy Rich Dad, Poor Dad my first time reading the book? Absolutely. I'm no different than anyone else. Although, I will say this. I do think his best book is Cash Flow Quadrant, because that book did make an impact on me, because it gave me a different way of just kind of like looking at the board, right? When you talk about employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. Although, when I talk to people about the book, my perspective on a book is actually a little bit different than everybody else. Everybody else says you got to get to the right side of the quadrant and be the business owner and the investor. What I understood when I read the book is you always have to be in the I quadrant, but you can get there from any other quadrant. You don't necessarily have to run a business. You don't necessarily have to be self-employed. Even if you're just a lowly employee, as people like to say, and I don't believe that at all. You can still participate in the I quadrant. Always be investing was the lesson that I got from that book, and I think it's his best book. But overall, just like some of his political leanings and some of the things that he says just rub me the wrong way, right? And that's part of what I want to talk about today in general. If you follow his messages or his tweets, he's always predicting a crash, the stock market to go away, everything to end. He's the doom and gloom kind of guy. And the interesting thing about that is, shout out to my brother Diamond Dave, because Diamond Dave, I was having a conversation with him a long time ago, and he said something that sticks with me. He said, if you keep predicting crashes, one day you'll be right, and no one's going to think about all the times you were wrong. They're going to say, man, he predicted this. And I think that's kind of what he's hoping for, because in the previous episode of this show, I actually showed his actual tweets going back to 2011, where he said next month everything is over. So he's been doing this for a long time. That kind of irritates me as well. I also think it's crazy, like the amount of books he has, the Purple and Black series, how he's, I think it's actually dope in one hand, but then it's like, yo, I can't buy no more of your books. You're just regurgitating the same thing at this point. So am I a hater? I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk. Never mind. My fault. Little sidebar. But so someone will say I'm a hating, but I'm not a fan of him as a person. But I think that's a bigger conversation, specifically as it pertains to Bitcoin. And I'm getting this from, again, my conversations online with people. Y'all got to stop with the hero stuff, man. You know what I mean? Like, I saw someone literally ask another person, and I mentioned this to Corey too, like, who's your favorite billionaire? I'm like, I know we got favorite baseball players, football players, but when do we start having favorite billionaires, man? We got to kill this hero worship, man, and really focus on what's important, right? The name of this show is called Stack Sat to Die Trying. I think too much attention is paid to heroes and what they're doing within the space. And the other part of this is too much attention is paid to price. That may sound crazy, but hear me out. This article, he talks about 350,000. If you truly understand what this asset is, and if you want to understand what this asset is, this is episode 18. Watch the previous 17. I go in depth about why I believe this has the value that it has. Price doesn't matter. People laugh when I tell them that I don't even know the price. Like, I don't check the price every day. I don't care. I want to stack. The analogy I always use, if Manhattan real estate, you were able to get into it right now, you would just stack as much as possible and you wouldn't think about the price. You would stack as much as you personally can, right? Last episode, I talked about devoting time to your skill set to be able to create value, to get more money to invest. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So I think too much. Now, I do understand that number go up is like the biggest meme in terms of getting people interested in the space. When we start going on runs, when we crack 60, crack 70, you start to see more people asking about it. I understand that. It's human nature, and I get it. But for those that are really hit the next level of their understanding, if you are someone who watches this episode, if you read the books, listen to the podcast, if you've got into that space, just keep stacking. Just stack it. Just don't worry about the price, right? So let me read a little bit more of this article and what he says. So the article says, renowned personal finance author Robert Kiyosaki has predicted Bitcoin will reach 350,000 by August. He gave an exact date, August 25th, 2024. The Rich Dad Poor Dad writer has long been a Bitcoin bull, touting Bitcoin as a hard money alternative. Now, I mean, I give him credit for giving the specific date, because now once he's wrong, who's going to go back and check him? Maybe I will now that I see this. I'm going to add him and see what he says. But it says in a recent X post, I ain't calling it X, we're going to call it Twitter. He projected to hit 350,000 based on his lack of faith in U.S. leadership. He labeled President Biden, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, and Fed Chair Jerome Powell as the three stooges in real life, and said he was confident in their incompetence. Some of it's kind of funny. He advised buying more Bitcoin to protect against poor economic stewardship. He has frequently criticized the U.S. government stimulus spending and money printing policies under Biden, which is funny because he was also a gold bug, and he's kind of like making that transition, which is another little side note. I see a lot of gold bugs, and again, I'm one of them. I was once a gold bug, who have completely made the shift over to the Bitcoin. So I think that's interesting too, and to go with the narrative of Bitcoin being digital gold. They saying the same thing that I'm thinking. $350,000 target within 2 months is an extremely bullish projection. For Bitcoin to reach that price by August, it would need to surge over 380% from current levels near 71,000. Still, the author sees potential for explosive Bitcoin growth ahead, calling his prediction not a lie. Kiyosaki endorsed ARK Invest's 2.3 million long-term Bitcoin price forecast earlier this year. So, that's the gist of the article. But what I think is important to talk about on this episode of Stack Sats or Die Trying is, one, get into the idea and start to study more until you start to feel like, I just want to stack. Don't let these price fluctuations, because here's the thing, when you get to that point where kind of I'm at, and it's not to say that I'm better than anyone else, I'm still on my journey. I think there's still levels to go to, but I do recognize that I'm at a level now where my confidence cannot be shaken. I don't care what any of you say about your favorite shitcoin. I don't care what any of you say about you don't understand where the intrinsic value is. You can't shake my confidence, because I've put in my 10,000 hours and I've studied to the point where the price just doesn't matter to me. I'm going to stack as much as humanly possible. And then, in the future, sooner or later, we'll all see who the prophet is, to quote Nasir bin Aludurah Jones. But with that being said, so I'm at that point, and I want everybody to get to that point, because I want everybody to take time to study, right? So I also understand everybody's not going to study, but if you do take the time and you do realize, I think that you're setting your family up for future generations, right? This isn't even about me. This is about me planting the seed, and someone else will benefit from the tree that comes from said seed. You dig? I'm not a selfish person, right? Sometimes people often ask me, like, well, when are you going to sell yours? I'm not. Stop asking me. Leave me alone. I'm never selling. FOH. All right, my fault. With that being said, though, I just want to talk about this real fast, because I do recognize that a lot of people, look up to this guy as a hero. You know what I'm saying? These are our heroes. Not the Nas quote. My bad. I'm in my Nas bag right now. Forgive me. But yeah, leave the hero stuff alone, man, because all they're gonna do is let you down, man. Like, if you don't aren't watching the news or current media, you'll recognize all they're gonna do is let you down, dog. Like, but study the technology, study the value proposition, understand why this is something that you need for yourself as well as your future family, and just worry about stacking. Don't worry about price. Don't worry about what your heroes are doing. Um, I don't even listen. I don't even want you to trust anything I say. Anything that I put out there on this platform, go look up what I say. Go study. Right? Don't even trust me. That's the thing about Bitcoin. Bitcoin teaches us that listen, trust nobody, verify. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about something decentralized, right? No one point of control. I don't need to trust anybody. I stack sats. So my life is in a different place, right? And when you really get to the point where you're stacking sats and you don't care what nobody says, there's no article that can shake your confidence. There's nothing you can see on the news. There's no person, because you know what you're doing and you know what the mission is and you're sticking to that. So with that being said, man, just wanted to bring this quick story to you real fast, man. Shout out to Robert Kiyosaki anyway, because here's the thing. I hope you're right. Because if we hit 350K, man, I might take a couple of shows off, man. I might head to the underworld and do some nefarious things. No, I'm joking, by the way. I'm a fun-loving family man. I'm just completely joking. But anyway, man, I just want everybody to enjoy this summer, stack sats, mind your business, ignore the nonsense, stop having $50, $200 date debates on the internet. Get off the internet, touch grass, stack sats, enjoy your family, work with your community. All right, last thing I do got to say before I get out of here, buythehoodcamp.com, right? So buythehoodcamp.com, for those who don't know, part of our mission at Buy the Hood is to be a community organization and to use our talent, skills, and abilities to pour into our community and provide value. This year will be our 10th camp, right? So believe it or not, this will be our 10th camp. We have had a camp, going for a while. We have a free camp to the youth. Just go to buythehoodcamp.com to get information. It's coming next month. Buythehoodcamp.com. If you want to donate to help us, you can send it to $by the hood. But what our camp is, we teach the youth completely free, ages 5 and up, about budgeting, about buying assets, about how to buy real estate, about the stock market, Bitcoin. That's one of our actual lessons. We have a whole Saturday dedicated to Bitcoin. By the way, the camp is 5 Saturdays. So it starts July 6th and it ends after the first Saturday in August. And it's completely free to the youth. Buythehoodcamp.com to get more information, or you can hit me up and I'll give you the information. That is the last thing I want to say. With that being said, thank you for tuning into this episode of Stack Sats and Die Trying, brought to you by the Hood. By the way, you can get our merch too. You can click on the link and go right to our Teespring to get some merch. We got some Stack Sats and Die Trying merch there as well. Shout out to everybody who's already bought the merch, because I see y'all always tag me in pics and it's appreciated. Nothing but love for you guys. With that being said, stay safe out there. The weather's getting beautiful, man. So stay safe. Leave me some comments. Let me know how you feel about Robert Kiyosaki. Let me know if you are addicted to price, just watching the price all day long. And, just any questions or concerns or anything you have, please give me some feedback. But I love you guys. I appreciate the support. Stack sats and die trying. That's what we're going to do. We're going to ignore all the nonsense. And like I said, we are going to stack sats or die trying. Peace.